So this is my Jiren Universe 11. I guess I'll call it a ramp deck. So here's one copy of the leader, 4 copies of Absolute Justice Jiren, 4 copies of Allied Justice Toppo, 4 copies of Jiren Righteous Leader, 4 copies of Hero Combination Zoirei, 4 copies of Binary Blade Kashiral, 4 copies of Kunshi, 4 copies of Master Roshi, 4 copies of Beerus Fickle God, 4 copies of Frost Deadly Poison, 4 copies of Objection, 4 copies of Time Magic, 4 copies of Flying Nimbus, and 2 copies of Justice Blast. So first off, the main goal of this deck is to obviously play Absolute Justice Jiren and just take full advantage of his power. So he's a 35k quadruple strike, so he can deal 4 damage off of 1 attack. Permanent, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each Universe 11 battle card in your battle area. You must pay a specified cost even if it exceeds the reduced cost. Oh, you get the idea. So the main thing is, if you have 5 Universe 11 battle cards in your battle area, this will cost 5 yellow energy. So that's the whole thing. Gotta pay 5 yellow. So essentially, this normally would be a turn 5 play if you have 5 Universe 11 battle cards. This would be a turn 5 play, but I want to make it a turn 4 play by obviously ramping up by using Objection. So that's why we got the Frost Deadly Poison and the Beerus Fickle God, because as you can see, they're both blue-red. So being blue-yellow, by being blue, obviously that allows me to play Objection. Without charging Objection, because you'd rather charge these because they count as blue-yellow, which will allow you to play Objection for the blue part, but then they're still yellow, so that way once you have 5 yellow energy, you could play this. Because if you were to play an Objection as energy, so you can play an Objection, then by the time you have 5 energy, you have 1 blue energy, which would be Objection, and then 4 yellow energy. So that wouldn't work out to your benefit, because you ramped up your energy, but you still don't have enough to play the Jiren, because you need 5 yellow energy, not 4 yellow energy. So because of that, that's why we gotta do this. So, in case that's not obvious. So we have a way of ramp, so at least turn 4 you can get this bad boy out, because by then you should be ready to go for game. So that's the main goal, is to be able to play this and get this out. You could win without this, but it's Jiren, why not win with it, right? Plus the leader's Jiren, so why not? We have cards in the deck that helps you get enough Universe 11s into play relatively easy. One of those cards being Binary Blade Casserole. Okay, Casserole. Anyway, his auto ability is, if your leader card is a Universe 11 card, which it is, when you play this card or it is placed into the drop area from a battle area by a skill, choose up to 1 Universe 11 card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck and play it with its skills negated for the duration of the turn, then shuffle your deck. So it can search out a 1-drop Universe 11 card. So you play this, and then you can get this. So this is your 1-drop. His ability, this is Kunshi. Permanent, all Universe 11 cards with energy costs of 2 or less in your battle area gain barrier. So he's a 1-drop. This is the 2-drop, so clearly this will get barrier from this effect, this will get barrier from this effect. So he does give himself barrier, plus he gives you all your other battle cards barrier. So you'll play this to get this. That right there is 2. So if you play another one of this, you'll get another one of this, you'll have 4. You see the pattern? So you have 4, and then you just need one more University 11 in play, so you have 5. That way you could play this for 5 energy, 5 yellow. So what's awesome about this leader is he has an auto ability. Choose one card in your life, add it to your hand. When this card attacks, choose one of these abilities. So in order to use this ability, you have to attack. So you attack, take a life. You could choose between one of these 2 effects. First effect you could choose is draw 1 card, and this card gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So he becomes 15k, and you get to draw by taking a life. So you get 2 cards, and you're 15k on the front side. Or you choose the second ability, which is to choose up to 1 Universe 11 card in your hand with an energy cost of 2 or less, and play it. So obviously that's the main ability you will want to use. You'll take a life, you know, when you attack, and then you'll play. I personally wish this was an active main ability, but you know, that would have been badass, because then turn 1 you can just trigger the effect to play a 2-drop or a 1-drop for free, but you have to attack. So this is more of a turn 2, you know, going second type play, because you have to be able to attack. But anyway, you use this ability to play binary, blade, casserole, and then his effect will trigger, which will get you a Kunshi from the deck into play. So for free, or for attacking and taking a life, you'll get 2 Universe 11s into play, and they both have barrier. And just leave them in, you know, an active mode, and they'll stay there, you know, for a couple turns, unless your opponent has cards that can get rid of stuff that's barrier, which there's more and more cards coming out to have that. So that's a thing. But hey, give it a try. You know what I mean? Just because there are cards that can KO things that have barrier and stuff like that, doesn't mean it's not worth still playing stuff that has barrier. It just means there's solutions to the barrier problem, right? So you do that, play that, you got 2, and then you still have energy to play stuff, so you get the idea. You'll play, and you'll definitely try to ramp, because on turn 2 when you have 2 energies, you know, you want to be able to go into objection play and go from there. So obviously turn 1 you'll want to play, you know, either one of these 2 in your energy area, because you only need 1 of these in order to play the objection, and then after that it's just yellow energy until you have 5 yellow energy. And then point out the effects of some other cards. Ally of Justice, Topo, and Jiren, they have abilities to help you get you know, more Universe 11s into play. The main way to get a good amount of battle cards, Universe 11s into play, is binary, blade, casserole. So obviously when you mulligan, you want to make sure you get 1. 2 would be better. Obviously the sooner you get 2 of these, the sooner you'll have 4 Universe 11s in play. So then you just need to cast, you know, play 1 more Universe 11 card, and you can obviously do it through the effect of Jiren, so that way you can save your energy for other things, right? Like your time magics and your flying nimbuses, or your Justice Blast. But Ally of Justice Topo has the ability that when you play this card, if your leader card is Universe 11, look at up to 10 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 2 Universe 11 cards, battle cards with energy cost of 3 or less among them, and play them in rest mode, and then shuffle your deck. Notice this, you know, that they say play them in rest mode, and doesn't say negate their skills for the duration of the turn, which is an awesome thing, because if you just so happen to play casserole through the effect of Ally of Justice Topo, you know, he'll trigger his abilities, which will give you this, and this will have barrier, this will have barrier, and so will the topo. So that's a nice little bit of synergy there. And then this Jiren, let me see, looking again, yeah, this says 3 or less. So the cool thing is this can get you this Jiren. So if you just so happen to play this and then you get a Jiren, then the Jiren comes into play and then you can get his effect. He's 20k with deflect. That's useful. And when you play this card, well, you only get the auto if you play him from your hand. So you can get him on to play by I'll adjust his topo's ability. I just forgot that when you have to, in order to get the auto, you have to play him. But anyway, when you do play him from your hand, choose up to 2 Universe 11 cards from your hand and or drop area, which is really nice to have those options, with different names and energy costs of 2 or less, and play them with their skills negated for the duration of the turn. So this one does negate the skills of the cards you bring back. So if you use this to bring back casserole from the, either play it from your hand or the drop area, you won't get the effect. But obviously this is just to help you kind of like ramp up your board, you know, to ramp up the number of Universe 11s you have in play. So that's the main reason. So that's why I got this one, in the deck, just to help ramp more. But the main way you're gonna get, you know, 5 Universe 11 cards is gonna mainly be through casserole, but it doesn't hurt to have these extra options, and they're relatively good cards. This is a 20k. This is a 20k. Can't go wrong with those attack powers. And we have hero combination Zoe Ray. He's a blocker, and he's a blocker that can actually survive an attack. He has a permanent: if another Universe 11 is in play in your battle area, this card is not KO'd in battle once per turn. So he'll be able to survive, you know, more than one turn. So you could just use him to block an attack and survive. And if you have him in play while you already have this in play, obviously this will become a barrier blocker, and so it'll be harder for your opponent to get rid of it. And then again, you can, you know, block an attack and it'll still be there, you know, go to rest mode and stuff like that, and it'll still be there. So that way next turn you can just, you know, untap it, have it in active mode again, and use it. So it becomes a reusable blocker, which is nice. And then of course if you have 2 of these in play, that's extra nice, right? That's 2 attacks. So you see there's a good amount of defense in there. Plus we got Master Roshi, so there's more defense. Time Magic, Flying Nimbus, a lot of defense. Clearly a lot of defense. And barrier is always good, right? And then stalling by using barrier to, you know, build up your Universe 11 board, and then of course drop this big boy Absolute Justice Jiren and go in for the kill. He has an auto, I forgot to mention, when you play this card, choose all of your opponent's battle cards and energy and rest mode and place them in the drop area. So if your opponent has you know, is tapped out and you play this, you're getting rid of all their energy, which makes it awesome to try to get them out by turn 4. So that way you can get rid of all your opponent's energy. It's more like your opponent will probably be tapped out. If not, hey, they're still going to lose some energies because they had to play something. If you play it right, this is the best thing to do, because instead of hoping your opponent taps themselves out, force them to tap out. So by you attacking and doing things, especially because you can obviously attack with Jiren, you know, attack with the leader, use the leader's ability to play some battle cards, right? And then you know, and if he's in play, they'll have barriers, so you can attack with them, you know, if you want to try to force your opponent to you know, tap energy to play negates and stuff like that. Then you put them in a position where they're tapped out, and since you still have, you know, your energy and whatnot, especially if you have 5 energy and still have 5, you know, Universe 11 battle cards, bang, drop this and then get rid of all their energy, and then swing with this and go for game. Right, because it's 35k Quadruple Strike. Little side note. This is obviously before we see the blue-yellow super combo, because obviously they're doing multicolor super combos now, and we don't have the blue-yellow super combo yet, but eventually we will. And you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to upgrade this deck with that card, you know, just to give you that extra boost. You know, zero cost 10k, so you can combo it with Jiren, so he could be a 45k quadruple strike. So being able to just pump a lot of, you know, super combos into him and get more power, so that we can, you know, pretty much guarantee that quadruple strike to go through. You know, it's something you want to do, so that's something to take into account, something to consider. Or you can just, you know, if you don't want to use Frost Deadly Poison, you can swap that out and put in the super combo and then keep the Beerus if you want. To each their own. Just pointing out that you might want to upgrade this deck with a blue-yellow super combo. And Jiren has on his Awakened side, his ability is auto. When this card attacks, draw one card, and this card gains 5,000 power for the duration of turn. So he's at 20k when he attacks on his Awakened side, and you get to draw a card. Active battle, choose one card in your life and add it to your hand until the start of your next main phase. As long as you have a Universe 11 card in play, you don't take damage for your opponent's attacks. You know, which is, you know, pretty nice. You have to take life in order to trigger the ability. So you could, there's only but so many times you can do this, but the fact that you can do it and, you know, defend, install, and gain an extra turn by making it where you take no damage is awesome. I've been waiting for an effect like this for a long while. It's interesting to see that, hey, the mighty Jiren is the one that has that effect. It's like, oh snap, a leader with the basically a Wobble effect, or a you know, a fog effect, or whatever you want to call it. So you know, time magic, obviously negating attack, sparking 5, usual stuff. Flying Nimbus can help you against decks that like to swarm a lot. And Justice Blast, just taking it in because you can obviously combo with it for 5k power, you know, free of charge. Or you can actually play the card and get the active main ability. If your leader card is yellow, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode. Ignoring barrier, negate its skills for the duration of the turn, then KO it. So that's really, you know, that's really good to be able to use. What's nice about this is decent against like deadly defenders, so you can use this against deadly defenders. You can definitely use this against anything that has effects that, when this card is moved from the battle area by your opponent's skill, get such and such effect. Obviously this is useful against that, so take that to account, keep that in mind. And that's it. I explained all the effects and whatnot. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that's the end of the video.